I was sort of like ending the last video justifying how 99.9% of my videos might be constituted as like, shit. And when I say videos, I mean not the ones that include my trips to places where there's half naked people. But I brought up like this book I've promised my grandmother for the last 4 years, and it's when I think about the time frame, it's sort of but I say that to say this, like, as like much as I regret, like, for example, I mentioned like habits of people who may be like considered senior citizens. I know people don't fucking want to hear about that. I mean, not that they don't want to hear it, but if they do want to like hear about that particular subject, it wouldn't be in the light that I'm sort of presenting it. It may be something that like Jerry Seinfeld may have a better time tackling when he's writing for his or helping to write his new web series. And I bring that subject up particularly for if you haven't seen where I addressed that. Well, I'm not going to repeat myself, but if you want to look into it, look into Jerry Seinfeld's views on YouTube and how he would think that what I'm doing now is garbage. And I can talk more about that. I've done it before, but what I wanted to say was that like, even like a video that like I've like this may have started like better than how my videos have ended 48 hours ago, but the real reason why I'm just gonna like not to put bad videos out there, but if I'm not gonna like I'll just like say it. I mean, there's times where I have the discipline to open up a word processor, or like or do it old fashioned. I'm not talking typewriter, pen and paper, whatever biblical like ink, feather. Like, what I'm talking about is the discipline to like R.L. Stine, for example. I was listening to a podcast at NPR, and he was saying that he would write like at least 10 pages a day minimum for I mean, most writers, not most writers, like there's many writers like him where it started out as like something that is something that he's always done, and if he's like never making money for it, he may still be doing it. I know a lot of people in Gainesville who still do things despite like getting paid for it or not, but that's another video for another day. But there's people who don't run into that. What I want to concentrate on is the discipline, and I'll be like the first to admit that like I'm not even just talking about sitting down and like being committed to writing a book. There's a lot of things that I start to do and don't finish doing, and that's just who I am as a person. And how that relates back to how I wanted to end the last video is sometimes like I touched upon subjects I didn't want to talk about in this setting. It may be a little easier for me to explore. I know with Facebook, true story, I started to make a few of these videos, and this was like Tuesday morning. Today's Wednesday, by the way. Yesterday morning, and my sister called me, and I was like, I mean, I was like awake. I wasn't. I mean, I may have been alert, but I was just sort of like one of these times where like I was sleep deprived, and I mean, I was sort of like functional, but the best term I like to use is autopilot, because that's how I feel like I'm running on. Like, if someone would have asked me, do I feel okay, I would say yes. but half the time people don't tell the truth about that. But I brought up my sister, and I guess I'll end it with that story, because I started to say that there's been things that there's been things I wrote about and that I put on my Facebook page, and she's responded to. She's responded to a few of the things that I write, and when she initially called me, one of the first things she asked me was like, "How you doing?" And the first thing that came to mind was like, "Oh shit!" Like she may have seen like something that a video that I may have just made, or within a short time span, and she may have like called up and may have been concerned about like I'm trying to. I know there was like something I put out there during the weekend, and I ended up like there's this term called like maybe a tweet storm, tweet-a-geddon, of maybe like there's reasons why people do that. If you just got fired from your job, you may just like start going a tweet storm of like, you know, all the things that are going through your mind. If you just like broke up with somebody, and yeah, that particular, yeah, I'm not going to go into that, but I'll just say that I was just concerned that, you know, she asked me how I was doing, simply because she may have like, you know, heard something that she may have like wanted to follow up on and maybe talk about. And we ended up talking about a few things that was sort of there was something that happened on Saturday afternoon, and someone brought up something. I, you know, made a response, and it could have been like taken on multiple levels, but it did make me think of something that, you know, I saw back in 2007. So when I was talking with my sister, I brought up like, you know, something that I witnessed, and you know, I was trying to make one comparison to that, and you know, she talked about that for a while, and you know, there were a couple of things that I had no knowledge of, including the individual's name for that matter. Yeah, I'm only going to end it on that note, because you know, it's one thing to put my business out there, but it's another thing to like, you know, not that I'm not throwing any family members under the bus, but sometimes like even when I talked about a sensitive issue as far as issues related to like I'll just say it, since it's like, you know, out there. I had an aunt that, you know, wrote a book, and you know, it dealt mostly, I mean, about how she's dealt with life after her uncle passed away. And this was like maybe last year in Shanksville. I'm not going to mention like anybody in particular, but someone approached my mom, and he was asking her a line of questions. And you know, I'm going to say something that I probably shouldn't, and there's been things that, like, you know, you hear, like, you know, like inside the family, and it's just like I don't have to like go beyond my own like nuclear family to like say that no family is perfect, because like, I mean, I can truthfully tell you that, like, you know, between my two brothers, my sister, and my parents, like, you know, it's been far from perfect at times. And I'm not even gonna say that's a video for another day, because like, you know, shit has gotten that real. But what I will say, going back to that, is every family has their own problems, and I guess what I wanted to like not say but will anyway is when, like, you know, maybe someone outside the family who maybe knows a lot about like what happened, or like, you know, a little background, and he's starting to like ask questions. I mean, I heard from the author herself that not everybody was going to be happy with their book, and you know, basically my mom, I mean, she said, you know, what's something that's you know, it's something you've heard before. Everyone has a right to their opinion. She had a right to her opinion. I guess it was just sort of conflicting because like now people like outside of the family are starting to ask questions that they may have not asked, given the context of some of the things that she wrote. That's the only reason why I may have like maybe been taken aback. I'll say this in closing. The reason why my grandmother didn't want to write a book was because she said that there were some feelings that she didn't want to hurt. And with me, and this is in closing, I personally feel like I can't really be put in the position to talk about certain things. This video keeps going black. I'm at another loss for words again, and this is a topic that I don't want to sort of, not that I'm going to say anything wrong. I have expressed my opinion, but I'm going to pick this up in a minute.